What's up, YouTube? YugiohTube here, and today, as you know what, it's Halloween, and so what YugiohTube is gonna do on Halloween is discuss his top 20 Halloween cards. These are gonna be scary, they're gonna be creepy, and I'm sure you love this YugiohTube Halloween voice, but let's get it started. We're gonna start with two honorable mentions. Number 1, Skull Servant. Now, what does Skull Servant look exactly like? It's simple. It's a skeleton, and it's from Legend of Blue Eyes. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was certainly a Halloween game from the very beginning. Simple, but Halloween-y. Number 2, Skull Dice. Now, what's creepier than a dice? It's a dice that involves skull and possibly a devil-looking flying object involved. What is the role going to be? What's your fate going to be? That is why it's number 2 on my honorable mentions. And now we go into the top 20. Let us start. And let's start with number 20. And that is going to be Reaper of the Cards. Reaper of the Cards, again from Legend of Blue Eyes. Who's behind this curtain? Who's behind this fine robe? And why is he carrying an axe? Why is he a Reaper of the Cards? Well, we don't know, and that's what makes it number 20. Next up, we have Dark Master Zork. What's special about this card? Well, look at what he's holding, some sort of sword. Look at his wings, and he truly is a fiend, a ritual monster, a beast. You do not want to find this guy coming up or out of your closet because he will do some serious damage. He is a ritual worth putting into a lot of sacrifice because he is the Dark Master Zork. Coming up next on our Halloween special is Dark Bolter the Terrible. Just look at his face. Look at how happy it is to cause you so much pain. Look at the way he looks at you ready. Look at the way there's a mouth on his shirt. Where does he eat from? What is he looking at, and why is he so happy? He is Dark Bolter the Terrible after all. Coming up next is a classic Summon Skull. No Halloween would be complete without the Summon Skull. Look at the way he looks into your eyes. He stares at you, ready to pounce on you at any second. He's a strong fiend, a fiend with dark powers for confessing and confusing the enemy. Among these fiend-type monsters, this monster boasts considerable force. Yes, it does, and a classic at that. Coming up next, we have Manticore of Darkness. Manticore of Darkness, what else needs to be said? Looks to be something you'd see in the underworld for sure. Perhaps a demon, for perhaps some sort of devilish-looking object, but he certainly has worked out quite a bit. I mean, by those muscles, my goodness, he is ready to fight and ready to attack at any time. Coming up next, Invader of Darkness. No Halloween would be complete without this skull, this skeleton under a very large black cape with a large bicep muscle, ready to do a lot of damage. No other card looks much darker. No other card looks scarier. He looks to be like he has one eyeball. Where'd the other one go? I don't know. Coming up next is Change of Heart. Well, this one's quite interesting. On one side, it looks just like a girl with blonde hair. On the other side, well, it looks to be something much, much more serious. To have that dark inside of all of us, and the light inside all of us, we're kind of split in half. Heart split in half. It looks to me like this could be the Halloween card. Two-faced. Could it be an angel or a demon? And coming up next, we have Reaper of the Nightmare. And it is a skull riding a horse, and you can see the horse is in pain as the skull rides it with a large axe in hand, ready to do serious damage to this ghost horse. What's Reaper the Nightmare going to do after he gets off his horse? I don't know. Where is he going? And what is he doing to this ghost horse at this time? I don't know. Coming up next is Dark Ruler of Hades or Hades. As you can see, he looks very, very anxious. He's got a little claw with a little bottle of wine or a cup of wine or whatever it might be. It's some sort of liquid. Is it poison? I don't know. Why does he have a face as a badge to his wonderful outfit and costume? Or is it a costume? Is it something he wears every day? Coming up next, well, what Halloween would be complete without 3 masks? It's the mask of the accursed with several things poked into his eyeballs, and look at his face with his large teeth. Mask of Dispel that just looks quite scared, and Mask of Restrict. Well, this one looks like something if you put it on it'd be very painful. Perhaps it would even change one's attitude. I'm referring to Zelda and the Majora's Mask if anyone's ever played that game. And coming up next, well, we start to get into our top 10. Coming up is Ultimate Offering, and this card is certainly different from its English counterparts. As you could see, it looks to be a hand bashing on the head of something else, some sort of animal or perhaps even beast in the Japanese game. Well, as you could see, the beast with his yellowish green eyes, with blood rushing down this hand. What is going on? Whatever it is very violent, and torture, perhaps, so it is a very violent number 10 as we get into the serious Halloween cards. Coming up next, we have Axe of Despair. Again, an OCG Japanese card, different from its English counterpart. Axe of Despair, it's not just an axe with a large blade ready to do a lot of damage, but it also has a face, a scary looking skull that was edited into the English version. It was a little bit too graphic for us Americans and North Americans, and this is why it is number 9 on our list, because it seems to be doing a lot of damage, and it seems to be very, very, very strong. Coming up next, speaking of axes, it's Guardian Growl. Look at this monster, this dinosaur, carrying a very large axe. You would not want this thing coming after you. It would be a very, very scary feeling. It looks to be a dinosaur that haunts your thoughts, that haunts your dreams, something you don't want coming after you with that large axe and large muscles. And next, of course, what Halloween would be complete without this vintage Yu-Gi-Oh card, Tribute to the Doomed. It shows 2 mummies, one mummy wrapping the other mummy up, or perhaps unwrapping the other mummy. And you can see in his eyes looking for something. Is it revenge? Is it perhaps even more something intimate? And that thought is what scares me the most. And coming up next, we have Ill or IL Blood. This card is so creepy. It's hard not to put this one in the top 3. I mean, look at it. It looks like some sort of ghost. Look at his eyes. Look at its dark face. And look what pops out of it is what even is creepier. A face inside of this monster. And it looks to be a monster inside of another one. One of the creepiest cards ever to be released in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. And coming up next, well, it's Halloween, and without Halloween, we have to have vampires. Otherwise, a Halloween can't be complete, can it? And this is Vampire Lord. Yes, the blue hair kind of turns me off, which is a reason why it's not in the top 3, but it is a Vampire Lord enough to summon many vampires to that of Halloween, and something that should be taken into account when considering any Halloween card. And coming up next, well, we have Dark Necrofear, arguably the number 1 card on many people's list for good reason. It shows some sort of alien with some sort of costume on, maybe metallic costume at that. Very strong-looking alien as it holds its baby in its hands. A cracked head of a baby, that is. What would Dark Necrofear be if not a Halloween card? This card is one of the creepiest cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! History, and it's hard to beat something this creepy. Where did it get the baby from? What did it do? Did it find the head, or did it cut it itself? Most likely a severed baby's head that's cracked in its skull. That's Dark Necrofear. And coming up next, well, let's take a look at these cards. It's not Final, it's Death in terms of death. Let's spread these across the room. Death. And again, another Japanese OCG exclusive. That is what makes it very creepy. And you know what's creepier than that? The fact that you see every 5 ghosts. And the fact of, look at this. It looks to be like on the tablet inscription it says, "Goodbye." What does this imply? Does this imply the end of the world? Does this imply something more serious? That's what we all have to figure out on our own, but we just have to interpret what it means. But the only thing we know is instead of final, it's death. Coming up at number 2. Number 2 is a mystical tomato, but is this really mystical tomato? Or is this really a pumpkin? I don't understand why this was not a pumpkin, why it looks such like a pumpkin in real life. Yes, you could see the stem like a tomato, but in the Japanese version, this has to be a pumpkin. What is it if not a pumpkin? And number 1 Halloween card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Call of the Grave. Look at that face. That face coming up from all of the graves underneath it, with its big claws and its large teeth and eyes. It looks ready to do some serious damage to whatever comes its way. Truly, the number 1 spookiest, scariest card in all